All right, it's April 26, 2022. 7 games from April 25th, 2022. Just seven. That's all we're going to do today. Without further ado, Parker Coleman.
All the games were done, unlike yesterday. 7 games. Let's get into it. Brewers Giants, which should be a good game or a good series. It was a good game. As Burns goes up against Sammy Long. Here in the bottom of the second singles, moved over, scores on a Brasso single. After Burns is taken out in the seventh, it's basically like, okay, the Giants can win now. Burns had his great night. Now the Giants can win. And that they did. As Casali doubles and Jock Peterson would silence a heckler as he pointed him out and then hit a home run that same at bat, making it 2-1. Adams homer in the bottom of the eighth to make it 2-2. Flores would walk in the top of the ninth, and Luis Gonzalez comes in clutch for the Giants as he hits a 2-run homer. The Giants beat the Brewers 4-2 in a game they probably would have wanted to win with how good Burns performed. Gonzalez was 2-4 with a home run, 2 RBIs. I meant in the first start because he had the most important hit of the game. Burns went 6 2/3 innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, and 11 strikeouts. Very, very good performance. It's kind of sad that they weren't able to get a win off of that one. Peterson was 153 with a home run, RBI, walk, and one fan shut up for his night. He was a third star, a pretty big home run too, because that gave them the lead over the Brewers. But 4 runs, 6 hits, 1 error for the Giants, 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Brewers. Rockies Phillies. So this was not one of my correct predictions yesterday when I did the previews, but it looked like it was going to be correct to start out. Connor Joe would homer in the top of the first to make it 1-0. And just a little less for you guys, never doubt somebody who has 2 first names in their name. Connor Joe, maybe you could say Parker Coleman if Coleman can be a first name.
Can be.
But I think it's more common last name. It's not like being named like Joe Marty or something like that. But he homers, Grichuk homers, making it 2-0. Hoskins and Harper. Hoskins gets on. Harper reaches due to an Iglesias error, and that was a theme for the Rockies. Because even though they only had 3 errors last night, they probably should have had one more. Bermudo doubles to make it 2-1, and then a ball is hit by Schwarber, and it's up in the air for a while, and Grichuk and Blackman can't find it, and it lands. And 2 runs scored. The Rockies lose their lead off of that. So it didn't go down as an error, but I mean, and I guess it's kind of hard to say it was an error, but it was definitely an error, not statistically, but an error by the 2 fielders, Blackman and Grichuk. So it's 3-2 Phillies now. Harper would homer in the bottom of the 5th to make it 4-2. In the bottom of the 7th, 2 singles by Segura, and Hoskins leads to a Harper sac fly. Hoskins would score on a wild pitch, and Castellanos and Schwarber walk. Realmuto singles, and air by McMahon scores 2. Phillies would win 8-2. A very sloppy, poorly played game by the Rockies. Gibson was first star, 5 2/3, 3 hits, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks. Harper was the second star, 1 for 3, 2 RBIs, a home run. Schwarber was the third star. I do this very begrudgingly because his double that was 2 RBIs probably shouldn't have been a double. But nonetheless, there was an important hit of the game. And I can understand why it's not called an error, because it didn't touch a fielder's glove, but it was an easy play. I think you got to come up with that if you're the Colorado Rockies, especially since you lost the lead with it. But nonetheless, the Phillies win 8-2. I'm sure that's all that really matters to Phillies fans. I don't think they really care how they win as long as they win.
Here's the thing: you have 2 first names, but you could also say you have 2 last names.
That's true. Some people are saying don't doubt someone who has 2 first names. I don't know what people say about people who have 2 last names. Sometimes that doesn't really happen. It's kind of uncommon I think it's more common for a first name to be a last name than the last name to be a first name.
Think of that old-time college, Johnson C. Smith.
Mm-hmm. I know Johnson Batamosi he used to play for the Texans. That's the biggest thing I could think of, unless you count like Thomas or something like that. Anyways, side tangent aside, Rockies had 2 runs, 5 hits, 3 errors, 8 runs, 9 hits, no errors. So Phillies are 7-10. Rockies are 10-6. Red Sox Blue Jays. This was a pretty good game. A pretty good pitching duel. Barrios kind of lost it in the 8th, but I don't really blame him because he had already gone 7 innings. It's a quiet first for innings until Lourdes Gurriel Jr. hits a home run in the bottom of the 5th. In the bottom of the 7th, Chapman with homer, making it 2-0. Top of the 8th, Barrios goes. He ends up going too long. He gives the 2 singles to Dalbec and Arroyo. He's pulled. Adam Simber comes in. Gives up an RBI single to Hernandez and the sac fly to Verdugo. Both of those runs are charged towards Jose Barrios. So it's 2-2 now. But in the bottom of the eighth, the Red Sox lose it. Tough way to lose a game right here. I'll tell you how it happens. 3 singles by Espinal, Springer, and Zimmer load the bases. Bichette hits a go-ahead grand slam in the bottom of the eighth. That has to be one of the toughest ways to lose. And the Jays would win 6-2. Bichette was 1 for 4 with a home run, 4 RBIs. He was the first star. Evaldi went 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 5 strikeouts. It was really, really weird because there were 2 different what am I saying? Because Evaldi and Bichette, or not Bichette, Evaldi and Berrios had nearly the same stat line. Both had 7 hits. Both pitched 7 innings, gave up 5 hits, 2 runs. The only difference is that Evaldi didn't walk anybody. Berrios walked somebody, and Evaldi had 5 strikeouts. Berrios had 4. So it was a very, very similar kind of stat line. I did see that there were like 6 barrels by the Red Sox yesterday, and they just didn't get anything out of them really. So 6 barrels off Berrios. So maybe he didn't pitch as well as it seemed. 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Red Sox. 6 runs, 10 hits, no errors for the Blue Jays. Mets Cardinals. This was a fun game, unless you're a Cardinals fan or Mets rival. Maybe so anyone in the AL East. So Scherzer and Miles Mikolas pitch amazingly. They duel into the zone. Scherzer went 7 innings, 2 hits, 10 strikeouts, a walk. So that's pretty good. Mikolas tries to one-up him. He goes 7 innings, 4 hits, 5 strikeouts, and a walk. So that's why it was 0-0 going to the bottom of the eighth. Molina and Bader single in the bottom of the eighth, and they score off an O'Neill single. So it's 2-0 Cardinals now. So do you think the top of the 9th inning is going to be normal? No, this is baseball we're talking about. Everything must be as weird as possible. So we have Escobar singling, Canha singling. Escobar would score on an Arenado air. As
easy for you to say.
Yes, very easy. As Canha was going to get the single anyway, he got the single and the air. But McNeil would double, putting 2 in scoring position. And there are 2 outs here. Remember that. So they're running no matter what, whatever. So it's a ground out into the shift. The first baseman isn't near first base. They throw it to the pitcher, Giovanni Gallegos. Gallegos and Smith race to the bag, and Smith beats him. And since 2 runners were running, it goes from being 2-1 to 3-2. The Mets take the lead on. It barely made it to the outfield. It was really close to being an infield single, but it did get past the dirt. So it's 3-2. What a tough way to lose. I thought the Blue Jays game was a tough way for the Red Sox to lose. This is a tough loss for the Cardinals. And then Nimmo homers to add insult to injury. The Mets win 5-2. All of those runs were scored after the top of the eighth. Usually when you go to the bottom of the eighth, you don't, with it being a 0-0 game, you don't expect it to be 5-2 at the end of it, unless it goes to extra innings in like the Manfred runner. It leads to a big bevy of offense, because we've seen that before, especially in games that we watched last year where the Astros had like 7 runs scored on them in the 12th or whatever because they're pitching. They're throwing out Ralph Garza Jr. and whoever else. But I already mentioned the first 2 stars there were Scherzer and Mikolas. Smith was the second star because 1 for 1 with 2 RBIs. Again, I don't know how. It was just a tough way. It was an infield hit. It was more clean than that one that Schwarber had. But it wasn't an infield hit. Sorry, it went to the outfield. But it did get the 2 runs in. 5 runs, 9 hits, 1 error for the Mets. 2 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for the Cardinals. Cardinals out tough. Mets are 13-5, second best record in the league behind the Dodgers, who are 12-4. We're gonna get to them too. 3 more games. It's going pretty quickly. Astros Rangers, second game of the night to end 6-2. Alvarez homers is 1-0. The Astros had a great chance to rally and they couldn't take it. Tucker and Gurriel both reached. They're 2 in scoring position with 1 out. Diaz hits hard, but it's stopped. Jason Castro, he strikes out, but during that strikeout, he had a ball that was just inches away from being a double, being on the fair line. That could have scored 2 runs. And Jerry Payne was called out on a very bad pitch. Well, it wasn't as bad as Angel Hernandez, but it was still noticeably not a strike. So the Astros had a great chance to rally there, and they couldn't take it. And that would really haunt them for the rest of the game. In the bottom of the second, Solak reaches on an error by Pena. RBI ground out eventually by Culberson after Nathaniel Lowe doubles. It's 1-1. Gurriel Singles still second, and then Kyle Tucker. Maybe karma and like the law of stuff evening out. Maybe that does really happen because I don't. We're talking about Schwarber, his double. I don't know how this was a hit necessarily. And now I'm not complaining about it because Kyle Tucker has been hitting the cover off the ball the whole season, and he hasn't gotten anywhere basically. His expected slugging is like 651, or it was this weekend. That's the highest expected slugging in his career. And his batting average is about 290. So it's not that he's playing horribly. He's legitimately having bad luck. This good luck happens because it's basically a pop-up, and he knows it. He throws his bat. He has a little temper tantrum, and I can't blame him. But Solak can't make the play, and it looks like it touched his glove. He's in fair territory. The run scores. The Astros lead 2-1. Tucker would have something similar happen to him in the 7th, I believe it was, it might have been the 8th, when Brad Miller, that ball went off his glove too, and he got a single. So he was 3 for 4, and 3 for 4 last night. 2 3-hit games in his last 2 out of 3 of his last games have been 3-hit games, and they've all been singles. And 2 of the ones last night touched a fielder's glove. So I'm not really sure how those are singles, or those are hits, I should say. I know why they're singles. But the Rangers are what's going to headline at the end. Mayton comes in. First thing I noticed, his ERA is 1.3. His expected FIP is like 5.3. So you can tell he's been getting a little lucky. That showed. Willie Calhoun pinch hit. He doubles. He scores on a Semien single. Garcia singles and Seager singles for the lead. Astros do not get the lead back. In the bottom of the 8th, Calhoun and Lowe single. Semien walks. And Adolis Garcia continues to haunt the Astros. Bases clearing double to basically put the game out of reach. Astros win 6-2. Garcia was easily the first start because he had the most important hit.
Who won?
Did I say the Rangers? I didn't mean that. Rangers win 6-2. Garcia was easily the first start. 2 for 5, 3 RBIs, double. Dunning 5 2/3, 5 hits, 2 runs, 5 strikeouts. He pitched pretty well. He was hit pretty hard, but none of the balls fell, so no harm, no foul. Valdez was also very good and deserves mention. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. 2 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for the Astros. 6 runs, 11 hits, no errors for the Rangers. Guardians, Angels. And here's a lesson for any baseball player who could be listening to this. If you do something that's out of the ordinary, that thing will follow you no matter if you leave the stadium, leave the state, and heck, you leave the country, say you go to Toronto. Because Miles Straw had to climb a wall yesterday, and it wasn't because a fan was talking to him. The first 4 innings were quiet. And it gets even weirder because Taylor Ward was asked for time. It wasn't called. He takes a strike. Doesn't like it, but then he homers. The Straw has to climb. Do you know that right field side that in Angels Stadium where it has the yellow line, and if it goes above, Straw had to climb that. He couldn't get to the ball. It was in his. It looked like it could have been in his glove, but it definitely touched his glove at one point. The Angels take a 1-0 lead. Now, we'll go to the bottom of the 7th. Stassi would single. Ward would homer again, and the Angels went 3-0. Both the runs scored on Taylor Ward homers. Ward was easily the first star. 6, he had the 3 RBIs of the game. 2 for 4, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. Lorenzen went 6 innings, 3 hits. I think that's 4 strikeouts. My handwriting got really bad with 4 walks. And Bieber was pretty good too. However, he had the 2 home runs that ended up costing his team the game. 6 in the 3rd, 7 hits, 3 runs, 6 strikeouts, 2 walks. The Guardians, I don't want to say that they're not good anymore, but they haven't looked good at all recently. 4 losses in a row. They only scored 2 runs yesterday. They scored no runs yesterday. 2 runs against the Yankees on Sunday. 4 runs against the Yankees on Saturday. I can't remember what the Friday game was. I mean, heck, I don't know if a lot of kids can remember what happened on Saturday for the MLB.
This morning, they can't remember.
I think it's pretty. But the Guardians haven't been playing well. They only had 3 hits last night, and maybe they're falling back down to earth a little bit. But if you do want some good offensive news for the Guardians, Richie Palacios makes his MLB debut. He went 2 for 3. So maybe that could be good. Maybe if Stephen Kwan comes back because he's dealing with hamstring issue. Maybe, who knows, maybe Owen Miller was a flash in the pan. I didn't hear a lot from him yesterday. But the Guardians are a team that I want to root for. And I'm obviously always going to be asked for him. Here's why I want to root for them. It's hard to say that there's any team that has gone through more pain than Guardians fans. haven't won the World Series since 1948. That's the longest drought ever since the Cubs gave it to them. I thought that was kind of funny when I was younger, how the two longest droughts matched up in the World Series, and basically the Cubs handed the longest drought to the Guardians because the Cubs won. But then the Guardians, they blew a 3-1 lead in the World Series in 2016. We know that. They got walked off in the 1997 World Series. They're winning that game. They blew a save in the ninth inning, and they lost that game. It feels like they constantly have the most amount of pain. In 2019 and in the mid-2000s, I forgot what year, maybe I want to say 2005, they went 93-69, missed the playoffs in the wild card era. They've had a lot of tough luck, and you start to feel for a fan base like that. And I mean, I like the Guardians. Mousestraw, I like him as an Astro. Jose Ramirez is awesome. I like Stephen Kwan. I want to see Owen Miller continue to succeed. Not a Guardians fan necessarily, but I do hope they succeed. And that's why I was really happy to see them start off well. But like I said, they're not playing super well. Anyways, 0 hits. Nope, they didn't get no hit. 0 runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Guardians. 3 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Angels. Last game, this one didn't last. This recap didn't last too long, and the recap of this game won't last too long. But you know what we did get yesterday? First to something. If you guess it, then you get my admiration, and I'll be impressed.
First guy named Leroy to lead off the game with a double.
Not that specific. You would know, basically.
But I don't.
Yeah, it's not one of those obscure stats. It was the first complete game of the season.
Oh, I heard about him saying he was going back out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Walker Buehler. And Diamondbacks, they're in the struggle bus as well. But, I mean, Wheeler's a hard guy to hit off of. It's not like it's completely insane to get shut down by him. I mean, they're 6-11. Betts would walk, Freeman doubles. 2 are on. Turner hits a 2 RBI double. 2-0 Dodgers. Top of the 5th, Betts singles. Muncy hits a 2 RBI, not a 2 RBI double. A 1 RBI double. It's 3-0. Will Smith homers. Wheeler goes back out after saying he would. Unfortunately, Kershaw didn't do that after his perfect game bid, but I mean, who knows? It's kind of a low-hanging fruit. If you're a baseball fan, you kind of have to give Dave Roberts some crap sometimes. Just one of those guys. And I mean, I'm sure he cares more about managing the Dodgers than what I have to say. So I mean, I don't really feel bad if he were to like contact me and say, "Hey, you shouldn't have made fun of my choice." Then I guess I would feel bad. I mean, I don't want to hurt the guy's feelings, but. Kind of give Dave a lot. I noticed that there's a lot of fans that give Dave Roberts some crap sometimes. Probably because of all the issues he's had in the World Series until 2020. But Wheeler goes back out. He gets the complete game. He gets the win. He is the first guy to also have a complete game shutout. Obviously, you have to have a complete game to have a complete game shutout. But Verlander had the most amount of innings pitched at 8 in a game for a shutout. Now we have the first complete game of the season. And with how pitching's going now, it might be the only complete game of the season, for all we know.
Wouldn't that be something if it was the only one?
That'd be funny, but at least I called it in April if it is the only one. 9 innings, 3 hits, 10 strikeouts, no walks. That's probably what got him is the no walks. Buehler is the first star. Turner was 1 for 4, 2 RBI double, second star. Smith was 2 for 4, home run, RBI, his third star. 4 runs, 9 hits, no errors for Dodgers. No runs, 3 hits, no errors for Diamondbacks. I'm probably going to do the previews. I told my dad I wasn't going to do it, but I kind of feel like doing the previews now.
All right, let me pull them up real quick.
Yep.
I was looking at when you said Diamondbacks and Dodgers. I was looking at Seth Beer. He's down to 326 now.
Yeah. Wow, he's struggling. Pirates, Brewers. The Pirates actually have a solid record right now. They're 8-8. I don't think they're a very good team. I think they might be an improved team. I still don't think they're a playoff contender or even third in the National League Central. The Brewers swept them last time. I don't have any reason to think that they won't do it again. Maybe they take a win or so, but they have Woodruff starting. At least then it's Burns. But I do think that the Brewers will take the Pirates. The Rays have been playing better baseball as of late. It's hard to see who I would take them against the Mariners. If it's a 4-game series, let me check if it is. No, it's a 3-game series. I think I'm going to take the Mariners. If it was a 4-game series, I would have said that they split. because they're both playing pretty solid baseball right now. The Reds are doing a lot better than they were. Yeah, I'd say if it was a 4-game series, I would say that they split, but it's not, so I'd take the Mariners. Padres, Reds. Padres, no explanation needed. I don't even know if there's anything interesting to say about the Reds. Orioles, Yankees. I'm taking the Yankees. Again, I don't think there's any explanation really needed there. Well, actually, the Orioles did beat them in the series. I don't want to disrespect that. But, I think the Yankees are better than them. If the Orioles do beat them in the series again, I will laugh physically. Rockies, Phillies. The Rockies are coming off of a tough loss. I have my doubts about the Rockies. I really do. I like Connor Joe. I think his story is amazing. I don't know if he keeps it this way. If he does, credit to him, and he can laugh in my face if he wants to. But I think anybody who would come and say, wow, that was a bad prediction, they probably would predict it too. And then it isn't any disrespect to Connor Joe. Like him.
You're getting kind of personal, Dave. Dave Roberts is going to talk to you about something, and now this guy's going to laugh in your face.
Yeah, I'm saying he can do it if he wants. But I actually think I have the Rockies taking it. I feel like the 3-air game, I know it's one game, but it really gets into your head. And I think that the Phillies might be able to take it. Marlins, Nationals. This series might not matter too much at the end of the season. I'm taking the Marlins. Again, I'm not a big believer in the Nationals right now. If they start playing better, then good for them. They're a team that I do kind of root for, even though they beat the Astros in the World Series. Red Sox, Blue Jays. Again, I think the Blue Jays are better. I think Kevin Gossman's a great starter. Nick Pivetta has somewhat struggled in his first 3 games of the season. In 11 innings, he has a 10-run ERA, 2.14. Now, granted, it's 11 innings, but he still struggled to start the season. And the Blue Jays aren't a team you want to go up against when you're struggling as a pitcher. Royals, White Sox. The White Sox are on a 7-game losing streak. Did you notice that?
No.
I didn't realize it was that long. But they're going into, the KC is going to Chicago. I'm pretty sure I heard that Daniel Lynch, who's starting today for the Royals, has like a giant ERA, like a 7-run ERA against the White Sox in his career. To be fair, Dallas Keuchel had that really bad start the other day, and it hasn't looked pretty good. So, who knows? White Sox 6-9, they're looking to bounce back. Cubs, Braves, I think the Braves are a better team. I do kind of rag them, but that's mainly because they beat my team in the World Series. I think they're a better team. I think that the Cubs aren't going to be – they're 7-9, so it's not like they've been playing phenomenal baseball per se. But I do think that they're going to kind of somewhat fall off. And I do believe in the Braves more, even though they seem to be kind of hungover from the World Series. You can blame them. It was a great run, great World Series for them. Twins, Tigers. I'm probably going to take the Twins. That's a tough one. Because, like I said, I don't know how much I believe in either of these teams, how they're playing. Especially since the Twins, they're on a 4-game winning streak. I mean, the teams that they beat, the Royals and the White Sox, they're not really godly pieces of baseball right now. White Sox could be better, but they're not really doing amazing right now. I do want the Twins to see another team that I kind of root for in my spare time. I'm not rooting for the Astros.
Did you see the hot take today that Jeff Passan, Passan, however he said Jeremy Pena is going to be better than Carlos Correa?
Maybe I'm
grand conclusion after 16 games or 17.
That's people being a fan for you. I'm taking the Mets over the Cardinals. I think Chris Bassett's a great pitcher. Jordan Hicks is pretty solid too, but I believe in Bassett more. I also believe in the Mets more. I haven't been able to say this in a while. In my whole time being a Mets fan, I'm not a Mets fan. In my whole time being a baseball fan, they've made the playoffs once or twice. And I do think my first year was the miracle year they made it to the World Series in 2015, if I remember correctly. I remember the 2016 one back because after the Astros got eliminated from the playoffs by the Royals, I didn't really care because, I was 9. I probably would care more now if that were to happen. I wouldn't just give up on the playoffs because the Royals Blue Jays series, it wasn't too bad. And heck, the Royals winning the World Series, that was pretty cool because they hadn't made the playoffs in 30 years of the season since the season before. But I actually believe in the Mets now. And until they show me that I shouldn't believe in them, I'm going to believe in them. And the Cardinals, they did not look very good yesterday. They're 9-6. I do think that the Cardinals are going to win their division. over the Brewers. I don't know why. They're kind of giving the feeling that they have the it factor, but I don't think they're better than the Mets. Astros, Rangers. I would love to say that I choose the Astros to bounce back. I can't say that. They have Joe Odorizzi on the mound. Also, Taylor Hearn had a pretty good game against them last time. I'm looking at the lineup for anything interesting. Dusty's doing the weird thing where you go from batting leadoff to batting eighth with Chad McCormick. Pena's up to seventh, and Jose Siri is now the guy leading off. Dusty Baker did this weird thing. He did this with Miles Straw last year, where Straw led off one game and then he batted the eighth or ninth the next game. He's done that with Pena. He's done that with McCormick. Now he's having Siri lead off. I know it's hard when your leadoff guy's not there. It's just kind of weird for a guy to go from batting first to eighth or eighth to first. I might have. This is tough. I might have to choose the Rangers because I think they have a great offense and Jake Odorizzi, again, unless I hate to rag on him, but unless he does better, I kind of have to. Guardians, Angels, Tristan McKenzie versus not Paulo Sandoval, Patrick Sandoval. No, Paulo Sandoval is not a pitcher. McKenzie, he looked pretty solid. He did take the loss against the Royals in the first game of the season. Sandoval looked solid too. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. But, of course, it's baseball, so since I'm predicting this to be a low-scoring game, it could be the game that ends up being 13-12. I think I'm choosing the Angels. Tough. I don't like taking the Mariners. I don't like taking the Angels. I don't like taking the Rangers because they're divisional rivals, of course. But I don't want to be that person who just takes the teams they like more. So I would say that, yeah, I think the Angels have the edge over the Guardians tonight. Dodgers, Diamondback, Dodgers easily. I don't think I need any explanation there. And then Giants, Athletics. That would be interesting. I'm going to take the Giants. I do think that the A's are kind of overperforming. I don't think they're going to be above 500 in the season. I think they can win maybe 70, 72 games. I think they're going to have a fallback down to earth. But it is impressive that they're not struggling as much as I thought they would with all the COVID issues that they're having right now. Also, Carlos Rodon starting. Usually, when he's starting for anybody, it's a safe bet to take those. It's a safe bet to take that team that he's starting for.
All right, here's a question for you. Is that all the games?
Yes.
Okay. Here's a question for you. How you feeling about the Astros right now?
I think they need to wake up, and they need someone to wake them up. But they have been 7-9 for the last 3 seasons: 2020, 2021, 2022. And now I'm not saying that start 7-9 you're the best team in baseball, but I'm not losing my mind right now. They have been very frustrating losses. The way they've been losing, it's been tough, especially maybe not as much yesterday because I think the Rangers just simply outplayed them, which is kind of hard to say because of Solak's faux pas in the 6th inning yesterday. But I think the Rangers just simply outplayed them yesterday. I do think that they somewhat outplayed the Blue Jays in the series but it's really hard to tell because the Blue Jays played well too. I don't mean to dog on the Blue Jays. What really hurts the series loss to the Angels, I would say. Shohei Ohtani pitched well, but you don't want to give up 6 runs in the first inning.
At home.
Yes. With debuting your uniforms too. It's like insults. But I'm not freaking out right now. You should ask me again. I said this last time, but the best way to talk about, or the best time to make your judgment is at the end of May when the summer rolls around. Because then you're going to see, the team, it was like the Royals last year. They had the best record in baseball at one point, believe it or not. And no, it wasn't because they were 1-0. It was because they started off like 13-6, I'd like to say. And they ended up going 75-87, I'd like to say. So it does. So maybe next on May, probably the day I get out of school, if we're still doing this, May 26th, May 27th, maybe. Ask me what I think about teams that are performing well, teams that aren't performing well, and I'll give you the answer there. I will probably still have hints of me saying, "Oh, this team's not playing well. This team's not playing well," but I do like to talk about all of the teams that are performing or aren't performing. Because I just think it's a fun conversation. You can never come back, by the way.
Yes, sir.
It's a fun conversation until your team's in the not performing well section. But yeah,
For a week straight.
That's it. You can do the outro.
All right. Well, that is it for Monday, April 25th. The games of April 25th. Today, obviously, is Tuesday, April 26th. We'll be back tomorrow with more games and more insight from Parker Coleman.
Yep, have a cool day tomorrow.